for joining us here. We got head coach Ben Olsen now. Ben, just kicking off your thoughts on excitement for this 20th MLS season for the Houston Dynamo. Kicking off 2025 here at home against FC Dallas, Inter Miami, some big matches to start the year too.
It's just always a great day, right, to get back and see the guys and to watch them interact with each other and start on this kind of journey, this pathway that is going to take us in a bunch of different directions. It's going to be goods and bads, and navigating that is one of the fun parts of my job. It's a good group. We're returning quite a few players, and we look forward over the next couple weeks to add into the group to some fresh faces and some quality that can hopefully take this team to the next level. We've lost a few pieces, and with those pieces have come obviously quality, but also personality. So when we talk about adding players, we'll be looking for both the quality and the personality, but we'll also look within to fill some of that void of kind of the identity and personality of this next team. So just a lot of excitement and looking forward to pushing these guys over the next 6 weeks for an exciting opener against Dallas, and then we have Miami right after that. So looking forward to it.
All right, who wants to kick it off? Start with Dustin in the middle.
Hey, Ben, welcome back.
Thanks.
Obviously, Hector out. Steve is gone as well now, too. Do you have a new captain this year, or is that something that you're going to be kind of going with game to game?
No, I'll take a temperature every day as far as that part. Of course, we've been thinking about that. Per usual, it'll be a collective, and we'll use a lot of experienced guys to lead this team and build the culture. But, we will have one at some point, but I won't be rushing into that now.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. Happy New
Thanks.
Year. The teams change for many reasons. The rosters, the personality. What is the word I use is expectation. What should we all be expecting from this team? I know it's very early, and your team isn't complete, but what do you tell us about what you expect from the 2025 squad?
We expect a similar season, hopefully, to the last two. And we've talked enough about sustaining a team that can put themselves in the postseason and compete for championships, right? I know you guys are sick of hearing that, but that's still the goal, to have another good year, right? So then we can have great years. And it's still win every game. It's get yourself in the postseason and win as many games as possible in the postseason. And it's that simple for us. And it will be a new team. But we're still going to have 7, 8 new starters in this lineup. So that's a big plus. And I wouldn't anticipate too much as far as the game model changing or what we're about on the field. Of course, new profiles that come in are going to push us in a certain direction that may tweak that, who we are with the ball and who we are without the ball. And we've certainly narrowed down some areas that we need to improve on this year if we're going to achieve our ultimate goal, and that's the MLS Cup.
Coach, on a personal note, we asked Pat this earlier. How are you feeling? How are you feeling with the organization, with the team? Pat just got extended, new title. Is this where you want to be, and are you still motivated to do this? You've done it all in the MLS.
Yeah, motivation isn't an issue with me. I feel very supported here. I'm very happy with my relationship with Pat, ownership, and of course Asher, who I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I got a great staff, great infrastructure here, and I've never felt so supported in my career. So very happy, energized, refreshed, and looking forward to this year.
Hey, Ben, you mentioned, it's going to be a good year. You mentioned some things about what you want to do to make this team better. Can you get a little bit more specific and talk about those?
I don't think anybody in this room will be surprised if I say we need to score a few more goals this year. So that's certainly an area where we've spent the last few months dissecting, and there's two ways to go about that. There's on the field and from a tactical standpoint, and how we put ourselves in positions to score more goals. And then there's profiles. Then there's, well, this guy's pretty good at scoring goals and popping him in, or this guy has a real final ball and a final product and can help others score goals. So the recruitment side has been focused on that. And then us on a coaching standpoint have been constantly working on the tactics in the room and figuring out ways first to how do we incorporate that out there to push us on the training field, and ultimately translating that and trusting the process to get us more goals. Because defensively, again, it was another year where we were top in the league as far as not giving up goals. So it's a nice Captain Obvious, right? If we can continue that and score a few more goals, I think we're going to be in good shape, and we'll put ourselves, as I said, in that position to be in the postseason and give ourselves a better chance to win the MLS Cup. Set pieces was okay, right? And okay is not good enough for set pieces. The last 2 years, we've been basically a wash on the offensive and defensive end. It hasn't been a real plus or negative, and we want to push that into the plus because it's a vital piece to success in the game of soccer. And again, that's both working out here, but it's also profiles and who comes in, whether it's service guys that can get on the end of things. So there's plenty of room for growth with this team, and again, we have enough space to add, whether it's the players we come in or some new ideas on the field.
How's it going? Good morning. How you
Morning.
doing? Question about Kenny Bundy was announced early this morning. He's going to be part of your coaching staff. If you can touch on that, and also maybe getting a little bit more specific, if he has any specific roles that he's going to be taking care of.
Kenny's a guy, when I first got here on day one, I connected with. And the relationship here with D2 and the first team over the last 2 years was a very, very healthy one. It was one I very much enjoyed. I think it's one that Kenny's enjoyed. Kenny's also done everything for this club for a long time. People don't know what type of academy, the women's team. He's done a lot of thankless things in this organization over the last, I don't know how many years, 9 years. He's done it all. And he knows this club, and he loves this club. And for me, I'm very proud of him and excited for this opportunity, because this is where he's wanted to come. This is where he's wanted to be for a long time. And to give him this opportunity, or to help out in giving him this opportunity, is, I think, a very exciting one for myself and Pat and Asher, but also club. The club should be proud of that in the way that we're proud of a player moving up or moving on. Anytime we can advance someone, I think it's a feather in the cap, and I think you see more times than not, this club, we hire within. We do a good job of putting people in spots and allowing them to grow. I think that's a really healthy part of an organization, and he's a great example. As far as specifics that he'll bring, he's a coach. He's been doing it at different levels. He's organically a very good bridge to the D2 team as well. Now, there's still a lot of going back and forth, and sometimes one staff member it takes the lead on that. So he'll be a great complement for that. Set pieces. When he came here last year, we asked him to really dial in on set pieces. We always knew he had a real knack for that. Very detail-oriented, and he's passionate about it. Again, the second he got here, our defensive set pieces got much better, and he gave us new ideas and a renewed focus on that part. So he will certainly be at the forefront of set pieces, and that's a big role. I know it sounds like set pieces. It's a big role, and we're going to put a lot of emphasis on that this year.
One more question. With a lot of changes in the midfield, happening, and also with your goalkeeper. Andrew Tarville's a man of the house. I guess you had him, but he's taking on that new role. How important is it to have your defensive line, be the same one from last year, and getting players like Steres back on that lineup as well?
We really hung our hat on, our defensive unit over the last 2 years, especially as we were trying to figure out who we were offensively. Those players were very consistent and did a great job. So it's nice to have them return. Your question on Andrew Tarbell. Andrew's a great goalkeeper. And let me say something about Steve first. He gave us 2 incredible years. And he was a huge part of the foundation here that we built. And again, I can't thank him enough for his service in this club and what he means to myself, the staff, and these players. But you have to make tough decisions in professional sports, and we're really excited to see Tarbell, step up and be the man. Of course, we brought in Jimmy Maurer to compete with him, but Andrew's been waiting for his shot for a long time in this league, and we're excited to see what he can do this year, because almost every time we relied on him the last couple of years, he's done fantastic. So it's be exciting to see those 2 compete and Andrew have this opportunity.
Ben, I just wanted to ask you, Coco and Hector leaving, there's even the national media.
Did I miss something?
I know. I don't know if they told you, but you might want
Did I
to
miss
adjust.
anything?
You may need to adjust some things.
Oh, the rumors are true. And what did Pat say? How much information are we giving these guys?
Pat almost announced the
You guys-
D2 coach.
Listen.
So we got to keep Pat away.
The rumors are.
But
They're not just rumors.
Yes, but further
yes, yes.
but moving forward,
Yeah.
even talking the national media about Brooklyn
Mm-hmm.
and how he's been playing so well with the national teams and kind of his growth, is this Brooklyn's breakout year kind of this year?
I hope so. That's up to us, and that's up to Brooklyn. And there's a lot of signs saying yes, that he's going to be very much more involved in the 20, and also push his minutes higher this year with the first team. I don't know how that goes. Every year we want to push Brooklyn more and more and get him more minutes with the first team. It's important that we have homegrowns on the field. He's our brightest prospect, and you could see a maturity level in him, I think, the last month of the season that would tend to make us all believe that, yes, he is going to step up in this role. But it's also our responsibility to get the best team on the field possible and replace a Coco, replace a Hector with players that are experienced and very, very high level, right? Brooklyn may be that for us, but it's very it's critical that we replace those guys with high level players. So we'll see. We'll see what it goes.
Hi, Ben. I want to ask you about Ponte. Now he's going to have a full preseason and an entire season. What are your expectations for him this year?
Goals, he's pretty clear now of who we are and how we go about scoring goals. His work rate, as you saw last year, is unbelievable. I think he's one of the best pressing forwards in the league. And so now he needs to just continue being himself. Now, it's more on us as a staff and as a team around him to really put him into those 15 to 20 goal scoring seasons. Again, that's out in the training field. It's stuff we've been working on for the last a few months, and making sure we're training it in the right way, and we have the right ideas to put him into that 15, 20, 25 goals seasons. But I go back to, there's the soccer side, there's the working on it on the field, there's the tactics, but then there's some profiles. When we think about who we're going to bring in certain spots to help this team get better, we also have to think in some of those boxes that we want to check, or how can we provide him with better service and more opportunities.
Anything else in there? Chris, yeah.
Hi, Ben. Welcome to 2025 season.
All right, thanks.
Last season, Houston Dynamo were ranked second as the most possession team in the league and also third in terms of pass accuracy. So now this season, what adjustments or improvements are you focusing on this season to ensure that the team builds on last year's performance to compete and maintain the team on a higher level?
Well, the possession is, I guess it's a good stat. You know, it's part of the game model for us to have the ball, particularly in some of this climate. Teams are coming in here more times than not and sitting back and allowing us to dictate the game. So yeah, that's. I've spoken a little bit about that being again, somewhat of a feather in our cap, but it really doesn't matter if we can't score goals. And so that's, again, I've said over the last couple of months, that's what we're working on, whether it's the recruitment process or how we're working out in the field to make sure we're capitalizing on all that possession. Right? Possession, just have the ball, okay, it's all great and it looks pretty at times. But if you're not winning games consistently with that possession, being very effective with it in the final third, it doesn't mean a lot. But we'll continue to try to have the ball. We'll continue to try to push the game in the opponent's half and be able to repress. But we gotta score. We gotta score more goals and continue with some of the defensive stability that we've had over the last few years.
Last season, we know with Hector's departure in the midfield, I know he didn't have a lot of playing times, but you could see his dominance and all. Talk about personality. He had that charisma that could make opponents want to, play a little different because of him. So, is it likely for Houston Dynamo to sign somebody of that nature that can fit in that shoes, just to strike a balance in the team?
I've been searching the globe for another Hector. They're not out there. I mean, he's that special. He is he's an athlete. He's brave. He's got personality. The lights come on. He plays his best stuff. He can control the game. All this is some of those are replaceable, but we're not going to get Hector for Hector. He doesn't exist, right? Unless I win the lottery or something. It's a hard player to find, and but we're going to find somebody close to Hector, someone that can do a lot of the things that he did for this team. And if it's not the personality piece, as I said, there will be a void, but that void will be filled. There's a lot of other personalities in there, and that's what's so beautiful about each season. It's so different, and the personality of the team and the culture will change, and that's exciting in some ways. Some ways it's a little scary to have a guy like Steve Clark out of it, and Hector Herrera, these two big personalities that really led our team to success, or whatever that means, over the last 2 years. But I've done this enough to know that a team will take on a different personality, and that's okay. That's okay. And so that's it. I'm done talking about Hector. I love him. I wish him all the best. But we're focused on, again, putting some new guys in there that can take us forward to the next level.
One last question. The attacking department, as you said, stats show that the passes were coming, so they created those chances. So who are you going to be focusing on as the top 9 that you think will be able to deliver those goals this season?
A top 9?
Yeah.
Well, I think we have one. I hope we have one. I'm screwed. Look, Ponce scored a goal every other game last year. Right? That's a good strike rate. We need to keep him at that or better. We got to, as I said, provide him more, give more ideas, and bring some profiles in here with maybe some a little bit of a better final product, or some different eyes in the final third to help us in the attack. But we'll score more goals. We'll be better in that department.
Thank you.
What are your ideas?
How's it going, Coach?
Good.
attacking department is something that's being mentioned. Out of your wingers are injured, right? This year you've got Exxon Arzu. Just how could you implement Exxon, and what do you expect from him this
It'll be an
preseason?
interesting year for Exxon. We signed Exxon. It's a big commitment from the club to secure him, and we'll see. This is, again, a lot up to us and how we see him, and also Exxon and how he gets through this preseason and shows us that he can, morph into this game model and show us that he can help us with the first team. There's an opportunity there, right? Quinones is out, and Nali's out. So that profile out there, a guy that can come in for Ibra or help him out on that left side to help us score goals and bring some production to us. It's there, but he's got to show us that. Brad Smith isn't around. A bunch of these guys aren't around right now to fill that void. So it's a great opportunity for him. We may also try some different personalities out there as well. So we'll see. But Quinones is looking good. He was out there kind of doing a little bit more than we thought at this stage. So hopefully we can push him over the next month or two to get back on the field, and then we'll have a nice summer signing in an Ollie. Again, we'll do a double summer signing for an Ollie.
Anything else in the room? Jump to Zoom real quick. I think we have one on Zoom at least. Cesar, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning.
So you mentioned earlier how important or how Bundy would be the bridge between the first team and the second team. Now we know you signed Femi. We know you also brought up Exxon. So out of the players that you currently have on the B2 system, which two players excite you the most, and you're maybe hoping you could actually make use of a mid-season or maybe later on in the season?
Well, we just mentioned one in Exxon, but just for the fact that we're a little thin out there in the winger department right now, and so it's a good opportunity to see where he can help us over the preseason. Femi, as you mentioned, he's got a lot of guys ahead of him. Still Ethan and the three starters, and Daniel Steris coming back. But he's a guy we believe in, or we wouldn't have signed. And he's got different qualities to maybe an Ethan Barlow. He's more in the mold of a Mikael as far as speed, ground coverage, able to put out a lot of fires. But again, it's up to him and how he progresses and how we push him and develop him over the next month or two to see where he can help out in the first team. A lot of this comes down to opportunity with these guys. We believe in them, so that's why we signed them. So then at some point you're going to have to rely on them, and then that's up to them to figure out, or put the performances on to build trust with their teammates and the coaching staff. Who else do you want to know about in that group? I think that's.
Well, I mean, I've attended several games. I've seen you at the games as well. We've seen players like Sebastian Rodriguez, very exciting talent in my opinion. We've also seen Valverde out there, taking command out there. But in your opinion, which were the two players that are currently there that you didn't bring up, though you think are kind of in the cusp of already making it to the first team, but you just kind of waited to see their progress?
Well, I'll just add Rodriguez. Thanks for bringing him up. He's another guy we believe in, and we'll continue to work with individually. But it's important for these guys to continue to get games. So I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them are bouncing back and forth, depending on injuries, depending on the availability. But all three guys we believe in, and we'll look to hopefully in the next, whether it's this year or next year, get them some minutes with the first team.
Anything else? Good? Oh, Herman, sorry. Herman, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Good afternoon, Ben.
Hi, Herman.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Question, or he can see you.
Okay.
The theme of this press conference has been opportunity, and everybody's asking for who's the big signing in the midfield following those departures. But I ask you, you have two midfielders in Basi and Sebas Kovacic. Could it be an opportunity for them to be more active in the playmaking role? Because last season with Hector from the back up, but now you have two midfielders more closer to the striker. Could that be a change in playing style?
I don't know if it'll be, I think some of that will happen organically. I'm glad you mentioned Sebastian Kowalczyk, who I thought had a very good second half of the year and is a guy that wants opportunity and I think is a starter in this league. So that is something I'm looking forward to, giving him more looks, in particular in the preseason. But as I said, we're still going to be signing guys. So we could talk about this internal group, the ones we have now, but we're working every day to have this roster as deep and bring as much quality as possible. So don't be surprised with that. I'll go back to Hector, the last time I swear. There's a gravitational pull that comes with Hector, that the ball seems to be where Hector is. And he's that influential of a player and pulling the strings. Yes, if there is someone different in there that isn't as much of a personality, similar qualities, but yes, there is ways to be more vertical and get to goal quicker within a structure maybe without a player like that. But we still are going to play how we play. We're still going to try to dominate the center of the park. But if within that we can have 10s higher up the field, more box occupation, and get there quicker, why not? And maybe this is an opportunity to do that. But a lot of that depends on the profiles that we bring in and what we see in the preseason, and we'll adapt. We'll be looking at different structures, different formations throughout the preseason. It's a good time for us because we're very well informed on who we are currently to look for other structures and formations that we can utilize in certain situations or if we're playing specific opponents. And we have 6 games to do that before the opening against Dallas. Good?
Just your thoughts on that preseason tour. It's not in Mexico. Back-to-back years that y'all did it in Mexico. Now it's in the United States, in Florida. Your objectives and what you're hoping to gain from that preseason tour.
Well, I mentioned that the games are very important. I love Mexico. I love going down there. I love bringing the team there. Last year, we couldn't get the games sorted out in the way we wanted to. And so this year, we erred on the side of making sure that the games were a little bit more secure than we had when you go down there. And you don't know if you're playing a second team, first team, sometimes it's the under 23 team. You're at their mercy, and we wanted to have more control on that. And that's really what was behind these 2 trips, going to Florida twice, and then we're playing Dallas in Dallas for a one-off in between those 2 trips.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben.
I think one more on Zoom, Samara.
Yes, hi again.
Hi.
Question, can you talk about the growth you saw in Ali Yu and what you expect of him in this new season? Thank you.
We saw 2 different alley-oops last year, and early, he was a part of a lot of goals, whether he was doing it himself or providing. And then he started, I think, to tucker out a little bit throughout the season, and we needed that production to be more steady as the year went from him. And what you get from him is an incredible ability to defend and be two-way and put in the miles and be present over the course of 90 minutes. But the production started to wane, and we needed more from him in that. So, again, his name's come up quite a bit in the offseason, how we can put him in more positions, because it's not always the player. It's the staff. It's and how we put him in. We're communicating him and putting him in situations where he can have success. And when an opponent now fixes in on him and tries to stop him, now it's up to him and us to develop new ideas for him to put himself in areas to have more opportunities and goals. And some of that's on him, some of that's on us. So, but I'm excited for him to be that guy for us. And I'm also excited to have other opportunities or other players out there that can help him and give him a little bit of a spell. We rode him pretty hard last year, and some of that becomes there's a fatigue level that happens over a course of a whole year if you're being played so much. Hopefully this year, Anali, Quinones, Exxon, some of these guys can give him a spell and keep him fresh, and maybe he can come off the bench at times and build some confidence. All right.
Good. All right.
Thanks for hanging in there, guys.